Mercedes Benz distributor service. Everything you need to know. I bet there's probably one or two people watching this channel that knows what this exotic distributor came out of. And actually it's a distributor that I'm in the middle of servicing right now, and I thought to myself, maybe it would be a good idea for me to talk about where the problems occur on Mercedes distributors, especially point systems. And so if you have a car like this 230 SL, at some point you might run into an ignition issue, and we're going to talk about some of the problems first and how to deal with them so that you can equip yourself for a reliable ignition system. Now, most of you know I dislike electronic ignition systems. And the reason is because there's usually a pickup sensor or something that goes bad that's difficult to replace. And that's why I've never been a fan of Pertronic systems. But a bad condenser can be even more unreliable than a Chinese processor. And what ends up happening with these things is they deteriorate inside, these condensers, so that they start to ground internally and then cause poor spark delivery to each spark plug. And then the car shuts off after 10 to 15 minutes of driving. Or if you're like me and my 300 SEL 1967, when I took delivery of it in, I think it was 2013, and I was on the way to soccer in Orlando, it just died. Yeah, because the condenser was going bad. So the two different condensers are the genuine, like real German-made Bosch condensers, sold under Mercedes part number 00315600101. I think that's it, but don't quote me on that. But you know that they're good because they say Germany on the top, and they are yellow zinc plated. Meanwhile, you have your aftermarket condensers, which are silver and made in Turkey. So silver is bad, gold is good when it comes to condensers. This is an original Bosch condenser. And by the way, if you get new old stock ones of these, be careful because they do degrade internally because they're nothing but a giant capacitor. And they have a solid wire on them. Literally soldered wire, solid, formed in a loop coming out of the end. These do rarely have issues, but I replace them as a precaution just because, you know, you don't want your $1.1 million car to be stranded because of a bad condenser. You know, if you have something exotic like a 540K Cabriolet B or something, or some other kind of $1.1 million Mercedes like a 300S Roadster. So what else goes wrong? Well, you see these little bolts right here? These bolts connect to the points. And what you want to make sure of is that the little fiber washers here, which are non-conductive, are not fractured or broken, because if this bolt touches the body of the distributor, guess what happens? That's right, you get constant grounding and no spark. How do you know if the circuit's working right? Well, you rotate the distributor when it's out of the car to where the point gap is open, and you run your ohm meter from here to the body of the distributor. With the points open, you should have infinite resistance, meaning you should have no electrical connection between here and here. And then when the points close, you should have perfect resistance, 0 ohms, which means that you have an electrical connection again between here and here. So imagine this is the ground and this is the power supply. So open, closed, open, closed, open, closed. Now if one of them is bad and this bolt is constantly touching the inside of the distributor, guess what that means? It means that you're going to get a ground constantly and you won't have any spark. And in our next video, by the way, we're going to talk about how to diagnose a bad point set. Now, what else do you have to do to keep your distributor working? Well, you need to lubricate the distributor here, even though this distributor does not have that application. I think it's actually through this hole that's used to hold the rotor in place. Sometimes I like to lubricate it here where these two gears are. And there's a little wiper here where you put some special distributor grease. Bosch used to make it. Now I buy it from a company called Standard, but it's special grease for distributor cams. And I put a little bit on the cams themselves so that the rubbing blocks on the points do not wear out. And this point set, even though it's hard to see, is a pretty worn rubbing block. But we're going to talk about that in the next video. So, if you found this technical, what do they call it again, expository video on this distributor helpful, please like, share, subscribe, and tap the bell for notifications. But also, if you have something to add in the comments, such as your experience with certain Turkish-made Bosch products, that would be great too. And in the next video, we're going to talk about troubleshooting these, so hang tight. See you soon, and enjoy maintaining the ignition system in your Mercedes Benz or similar vehicle.